I'm on here. My name is Mr. Kevin Crawford, and Mr. Ray Jenkins is in with us also. He is administrator of East Campus. He is the vice principal, and he's here to talk to you guys a little bit about how school is going to be handled and answer your questions as best as possible. And then he's going to let everything else up to me to talk about my class. Mr. Jenkins.
Hey, everybody, welcome. I want to congratulate you first and foremost for choosing BCTC because it is a choice, and it's a big one. Normally, when we have all the programs together in the cafeteria, I give about a half an hour talk, just overall rules and how our school works. Tonight, I'm going to limit that. I'll just cover a few basic things. I'll talk for a few minutes, and then I'll give you guys a few minutes for questions. Anything that's a program specific, save it for Mr. Crawford. He has his spiel. I don't want to take any of his thunder away. But I can assure you a couple things. You made a great choice. I love my job. So this uncertainty of how our school year is going to start is, really, really weighs on me because I look forward to the students in our building, which are top notch, and our teachers. And every day just goes by so fast. I mean, it's 3 o'clock before I know it. And, I don't even know, what all happened that day just because it's such a nice, friendly, pleasant environment that, we work hard to maintain and we take very seriously. Some basic things. Your students won't have to worry about driving, but if they have an older brother or a next door neighbor and they want to ride to school, there is a form for that. If you contact our front office, that is okay if they get a ride. Normally, we force the 10th graders to stay on the school buses because it's the most safe. But with the uncertainty of this year, and you're more comfortable with your student getting a ride, that's not a problem. But we do need the proper paperwork filled out in advance. If you contact our front office at the East Campus, we can get that to you. It's not a problem. Our student handbook mirrors the rules in all 16 sending schools, so there's nothing earth-shattering. Technology use is, we invite it, but at the same time, when your teacher will say when you're allowed to have your phone out. If your phone is serving an educational purpose, he'll tell you, Mr. Crawford will let you know, like, hey guys, get your phone out, make sure you take a picture of this, or a whole bunch of stuff up on the board, take a picture of that before you leave, or bring your phone to measure. There's all different ways to utilize technology that will assist you, as you advance, through your learning career. And, we're very big on that. Key points to our school, the end of program test is called the NOCTI. And historically, we're top 1, 2, 3 in the state and how well our students score. And we did the same this year. We were lucky enough to get at least the written portion of our test in the spring before we shut down. So, there's a great tradition. We have student organizations, CTSOs. Our students perform very well. Mr. Crawford has had students win states, nationals. They are like our sports, our varsity competitions. So, they're great leadership opportunities that I try to promote that will assist in your resume and how you're able to present yourself when it's time to leave BCTC. So, we'll talk more as we get into the school year and I'm able to meet the new students and we're able to meet as a group at some point, hopefully. But getting started is tenuous right now. So that leads me into the next point. School messenger went out probably about an hour ago from our director, Dr. Kraft. I think it was an automated voice, but it was his message. If you go on the BCTC website, you can see our education plan. So what a full opening looks like. It's just normal school. What a hybrid program could look like. And then obviously the virtual program that we all ended up in fourth marking period. It's all on the website for display. Also on the website is our health and safety plan. All school districts in Pennsylvania were required to submit one. Our school board met last week, August 5th, and approved ours. So you can look in there and see the nooks and crannies and details, and you're not going to see much different information than your sending school health and safety plan. Um, we actually are we benefit from the fact that our students don't change classes. So one of the big pieces in these safety plans everyone is creating is the keep people separate. And we do that. Our students, your student will show up. If they eat breakfast or lunch, they're going to go to Mr. Crawford's class and do so. Um, and they'll stay there until it's their time to leave. Lunch will still be afforded as normal, but it'll be in Mr. Crawford's classroom, just like we always have done breakfast. So not too much earth shattering there. All students and staff are going to be required to wear face masks or face shields. Mr. Crawford, touch on his program for a minute. Every student in the lab area is required to wear safety glasses. The mask and safety glasses don't work well together. They fog up pretty quick. So shields will be provided if you don't have your own. If you insist on the mask and you want to wear the glasses, that's fine. But having one or the other is non-negotiable. If you want to wear both, shield and a mask, that's on you. We're going to require the same thing on our bus rides. Those masks seem to be a key component in keeping people safe these days. So we're going to follow along with national and state guidelines. Aside from that, every program has a uniform. Mr. Crawford will talk about your uniform. You're expected to have your uniform. Although we are going to start the school year, especially with the new guys, not changing. Mr. Crawford will have some other students change, but having 20 people in a locker room at this time is simply not appropriate and not safe. So the groups of students who do change, depending on their job for the day, will be a much smaller scale, and it'll be on a rotating basis that we can ensure there's plenty of space in between. Mr. Crawford's class is fortunate, a lot of outside time. So, he will utilize the space he has outside of the building area where students are able to perform various tasks, move about. So there's more space created than your conventional math class that you're used to where there's 25 desks. We have a small theory area, a larger lab area, and then of course the outside area is going to contribute to our learning environment and our ability to make everybody safe. I cannot answer any questions on what your sending schools are doing. They're changing by the minute, and we're at the mercy because there's 16 different sending schools who send their students to us. So if all 16 go virtual, we're going to be right in that mix. I can't say, you haven't heard from your sending school bus transportation. I don't, it would be impossible for me. I have no ability to tell them what to do. They are in the same boat as us, and it's changing daily. So, it deeply hurts me to not know that we're all going to be in school Wednesday, August 26th. And that is our scheduled first day. That's a change from August 24th. Another important thing, our custodial staff has done a great job with the cleaning. Mr. Crawford will have all the cleaning supplies he needs to keep things clean if sharing is necessary. We are asking every school in Berks County is a one-to-one school, and that means a computer is provided by your sending school. So you're all going to be asked to have those devices. That will reduce some of the sharing necessary when we have to get out computer carts or Mr. Crawford's community computers that sit in his theory room. Most of them will just simply be turned off. We'll encourage students to bring a water bottle. His drinking station, his community drinking station will not be available. So, things of that nature will be important. We'll spend time at the beginning of the year teaching the students how to wash hands. Sounds simple, sounds silly, but there is a proper way and a proper technique. The first certification they'll earn will be their OSHA 10-hour safety course. And that'll go miles in keeping your child safe in their lab area throughout our building and on the work site. So again, I ask you to go on the website. That is up to date. Facebook, Instagram, we have accounts of BCTC. The knowledge is the information is constantly being pushed out to the general public, our students and our parents. Parent portal is a transition piece now where you can look at your students' grades. That'll become available shortly, and that'll be a separate notification that you will receive. So at this time, like I said, I'm not going to ask program-specific questions. That's going to be up to Mr. Crawford. But overall school questions, I'm going to say one more piece before I turn it over to the questions, and that's you're going to get a lot of information tonight. Mr. Crawford, he's going to tell you about all the certifications your child's going to earn, the books they're going to read, the tests they're going to take. And I say this every year when we do our new student orientation. Sometimes people get nervous. Oh man, I don't think I can do that. You know, oh no, man, that seems like so much work. And you know what? It is. It is a lot of work, but the supports are in place. Whether you have an IEP, whether you learn better in small groups, big groups, or you need some individual time, we have the programs in place. And our students, especially in building construction, leave. Mr. Crawford doesn't have enough students to fill the jobs of the people who call him looking for our students every single spring. He'll tell you that. You know, anybody in Berks County or surrounding area, they need a top-notch person in the construction field, they're calling Kevin Crawford. And they call me. I go down to Mr. Crawford, and he says, sorry, I don't have anybody. I don't have any names at this time. So you're in a great spot. So we're all a little uneasy about the uncertainty at the start of the year. That's normal. We will be together. We will continue to grow as a group. And I can assure you, you are in great hands, and you made a great choice joining a great program. So with all that being said, you can find my name on the BCTC website if you want to email me any questions, you think of something as we go along. That's what I'm there for. I'm there. You know, I'm a public service provider, and my goal is to make the day go smooth and see to it all our students get a top-notch education. And right now, my job is easy because of the friendly, respectful environment our school has and the top-notch educators in each classroom, and the materials and supplies our school board provide us. The support we get from the community is second to none. So again, with all that being said, I will, you know, anybody have any questions? I can hang around for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I have to buzz into another orientation meeting. So at this time, please, does anybody have any questions? You don't have to be shy. You can email them too.
I do have one. Uniforms are on back order, some of them that have been ordered, and they're hoping to have them there by the start of school, but what happens if they don't?
It happens. And again, especially with the first year students, you know, there'll be a lot of flexibility there. And especially when we know the uniform we get a printout of who ordered the uniforms. So we know it's simple for, you know, Mr. Crawford to check and see. And, you know, when it gets here, it gets here. And the uniforms are not going to be involved until we get back to more of a normal setting where everyone will be changing into them each day. But a necessary piece of equipment to have. So when we do switch, it's go time. You know, we're not going to wait another month when it is time to start up, because we're going to want to move fast once we get everybody in the classroom.
And you said the face shields, if they choose a shield over a mask, that would be provided, or they need to get a face shield?
We will have face shields for Mr. Crawford's class. Your child will have one. So if he wants to wear it around all day, great. He wants to wear it to the mall on Saturday, no problem. We won't have enough to give them out daily, but there'll be one provided. We'll have extra masks if someone loses one or it tears or something silly. It happens. You know, you set it down on the bus and walk in the building without it. You know, you'll be stopped immediately, and you'll get an additional mask for that particular day.
Okay, sorry, and I have one more. As far as lunches, how's that work for the kids that, I guess, mine's coming from Kutztown. I think you said they come in the morning. Like, what is it for them? How does that work?
Kutztown does not eat lunch in our building.
Okay.
So the normal whatever the lunch plan was last year, they'll bus back to Kutztown. And that's where their lunch will take place. You're welcome.
Okay,
Good
thank you.
questions. Okay, I know Mr. Crawford has his information ready. I appreciate you coming out and the decision you made to join our school. You made a great choice. So thank you. Welcome. I look forward to meeting and seeing all of you as we move along. Thank you, Mr. Crawford. I'll hang around for a few minutes and listen, and then I got to sneak out to the other meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. As you can see on our screen up here, this is a picture of our East Campus, and your sons and their daughters will get very comfortable seeing this every day. It's looking a little different because of the way students are going to come in and out of the school now. The buses usually unload 4 or 5 at a time. We get a lot of students. They're not going to let them do that. They're going to try to keep them separated and really take a good job and take good care of the kids. Mr. Jenkins does a great job with that stuff. He's ahead of the safety part. Let's see if I can get this to scroll. New student orientation tonight. We usually do this at school before school is out, and it makes it a lot easier to get everybody together. We usually have a lot better showing. I should have 17 parents in here tonight. I get it. It's very hard to get people in and out, especially at this time of night. I tried to do it earlier, but those who had gotten in contact with me know that my house got hit pretty hard with a storm, and we had, I guess, 3.5 days without power and water and stuff. So I kind of had to cancel the last meeting. So I apologize for that. Building Construction Occupations is the name of my class. My name is Mr. Kevin Crawford, and my email address is down here on the bottom. Email is the easiest way to get a hold of me. During the day is not so easy to get a hold of me in the school, so emails are easier and I can try to get back to them. Phone calls just do not work in a construction class. It is too loud and too much going on, and I'm in and out. I usually have 25 kids per session, and it's not all kids. I have 4 adults this year, and they're in there all day also too. As I said, I apologize for the change in date that was set up for us. These are our different different programs. There's business and IT, communication. Construction's the big one for me. Engineering, manufacturing, healthcare, service plans, and transportation. We have 2 different campuses, East and West, and they're split up pretty well. All the constructions in our wing and every one of these guys work on the house together, and we will talk about that in a little bit. Uniform ordering. As Mr. Jenkins said, we're pretty good about the new students coming in. My older students will all have their uniforms already, and they will wear them. A lot of them will wear them right this class. My young ladies, most of the time they don't want to change, so they wear their clothes in and out. But there is the ability to change in a bathroom. There is abilities that they can change. I have a lot of young girls that come take my class too. So you go on the BCTC website, and actually it's moved around a little bit. I don't know if anybody needs any help looking for that stuff. It's all under new student teacher or new student parent ordering, and all the supplies are in there. We'll go through this a little bit. Now I will answer questions later, but I already sent this out, so I got to think most of you guys know what's going on. You go into new student orientation, you click on it, and then order supplies. And then you would come into this area where you have 3 different ideas of what's going on here. The textbook list, you have the tool order. The tool order is just a list, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then the clothes. The clothes are the big ones that you got to get off here. The other 2 you can get from wherever you prefer to get them from. East Campus. We're always East Campus. If you go on West Campus, you'll find different clothing and different materials. Our clothes for my shop are charcoal gray. They say construction on the back. I prefer to have at least 2 of the t-shirts for the students, maybe even more, because they sweat. We work hard. 1 sweatshirt for the winter is nice, or 2. A couple crew neck shirts are nice, because once you get sweated out of these, you can switch into another shirt, or you wear this in on top of that and you switch out your clothes. Really, 2 is probably not enough of these, but I'd go for at least 2, if not more. Any questions on the clothes ordering other than the fact that some of the stuff's not in and it takes a little time? And as Mr. Jenkins said, we know who orders, If I have somebody that's really abusing this fact, I figure out who they are, and I'll call home or I'll deal with it at home to make sure that somebody is trying to get their clothes. The Modern Carpentry book is the main book that the students need. I know they're expensive. You can also do ebooks. I think it's an ebook for $24 online, and you can do it, but it's 1 year only, so you got to do it 3 times in a row. The books are worthwhile. I wouldn't have the students buy this one if it wasn't for the fact that it is such a good book that keeps forever. They change them up quite often. I do not have any 12th editions in my classroom. There's an 11th edition, and it is a little different. Every time they change it up so they can sell them again. It is a little bit of a racket, the textbook companies. You can try finding a used one. I don't care if you use a paperback one. That's your choice. Just be careful in your order that you don't order a workbook. The workbooks are not what I'm wanting. I want the regular books so they can look in through. The workbook's nice, but I don't use it. So this one has to be bought this year, and they will need it. I don't have any extras for anybody to use. The next 3 years, or the next 2 years, and some guys actually 3, I have some for four years. I have some of these books in my classroom, but if somebody likes doing electrical, they really are into it, they might want to get one of these copies. I have enough to be used. They cannot go home. And this one is actually outdated. I probably have to upgrade another one. It's expensive buying all these books. Modern Masonry, that is not outdated. I know that one for sure. And the Modern Plumbing. My juniors, and actually the very first job the level 1s had to do, they need to look in all 3 of these books and look something up for me and do a little bit of work in them so they get comfortable with them all, but they do not need them. The last teacher in this program made them buy all 4 books, and that's very expensive, so I tried to back off on it, but the student wants to take one home or has one at home, he's going to have to buy, or he or she's going to have to buy one. By their own. And here is what's really important to me, the class attire. You need a pair of work boots. They do not have to be steel toe for me. I don't wear steel toe, but we need a good pair of work boots. As the students are in there longer, they're going to be at the house. My level 1s get to the house, not right away though. At the end of the year, they'll probably get to the house. So you got to have a good pair of boots or you're not going to the house. A good pair of jeans, no rip, no big mess up. I don't like the big cut ups jeans. It's got to be decent jeans. I'm not saying we have to look like we're going out on a date, but we got to be in work clothes. I try to keep away from the big baggy pants and that's just dangerous, and the big pockets hanging off the side. So it's better with a pair of jeans. They have a locker. They keep this stuff right in their locker. The shop shirts and stuff that they're required to wear, they need them in their lockers too, or wear them every day. And they need to take them home and wash them. That's something that the guys don't always think about, and they get stinky sometimes. 25-foot steel tape measure. You can go to a 30-footer. Try to buy a better quality one. Better quality is going to be about 1 inch wide to tape when you reel out so that they hold up. If they buy a cheap one and some of the guys try to buy cheater tapes, I'm not going to let them use the cheater tape. It has all the 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 1/16 on there. These guys need to learn this without that. If they have a cheater tape, they can use it later, but in the beginning, I take it off and I'll have to give them one of mine, and then they'll have to return it to me every day. As they get in the shop, they'll see better tools and they'll see what other guys have, and some of my guys buy a lot of tools. They'll ask for them for Christmas. It's a good thing to invest in good quality tools. The tool belt should be leather. I don't care if it's 1 pocket, if it's 2 pockets, if it's all one piece. If somebody can't find something right away in the beginning, we can talk about that when school starts and they can go out, because they don't need their tools, the level 1s, the very first day, but they will need them pretty quick. The 6-foot folding roller is nice to have. It is a nice roller. They don't have to have that. And $10 is probably a very cheap one. They're probably closer to $20. Utility knife. For some of you guys, it's going to be hard to bring that on the bus. You'll have to not have any blades in it and bring it with it. So you have to be careful with some of these stuff. Some of the schools are really comfortable with tools being brought on the buses. Some are not. So utility knife is important. 16-ounce claw hammer or straight hammer. A straight hammer is really called a rip hammer, and that's the better one. They do not need to get a 20-ounce or a 24-ounce. When they're young, they need to stay with the smaller ones, not a big, heavy hammer. The next one, A speed square is what I prefer. I have combination squares for some of the jobs that they need. If they have a combination square, it's great. If they have both, it's even better. But a speed square is more important and more practical for our for what we do nowadays in the job site. A pencil compass is what you use to make a circle in math class and stuff. They're important, and it'd be nice to have a couple of them, or it'd be nice to have one of them. We call it a scribe. A chalk line is a simple chalk box that fills up with chalk, and you pull it out and snap lines. The calculator, do not listen to this calculator one, because I have regular calculators in my class. This is for later on. A construction calculator, and I will show all the students what a construction calculator is. For those guys who are really going to get into the business, this is well worth its time. They are not $25. They are probably closer to $60, $70. Those students that have iPhones, I don't know if they can get it free on the Samsung, but they used to be able to get a free app or a $20 app to get that on their phone. The Construction Calculator Master was great, but they don't need that as a level 1 right now. Calculators always come in handy. Everybody's got phones with calculators on. And as Mr. Jenkins said, you guys are all going to have your own computers, your own personals that you should be bringing in from your own schools that they have calculators on too. But I try to teach you guys as much math, or teach the students as much math, that you don't need the calculators. We do a lot of math in my class. Every day we usually do math. Now, I don't know how it's going to look this year, because of maybe I'll make my older kids stand out in the shop and look through the window and do the math problem out in the shop, so everybody kind of stays separated. So that's the tools. Grading. This doesn't look like it's all set up right here. This should have been better here. Knowledge, 80% of the grade is going to be knowledge. So when we talk about knowledge, we talk about anything you're doing in my shop, in my classroom, out in the shop as far as building, or at the house. Work ethic is coming to school, coming on time, changing into your clothes. That is a standard that's in there every single day. The school sets that up, and I grade that, and that's very important to me, that they come, students come prepared, come ready, change your clothes, do what you got to do every day, work hard. That's how you're going to get 10 points out of 10 points every day, by coming in and doing what you got to do. The other part will be just doing the jobs right, and I grade your stuff. So 20 points you get rated, or 20% of your grade is just by coming in and working hard, changing your clothes, and not missing school. A day of school out is a 0. And that is the school's grading system, not mine. My stuff should be coming up next, I believe. So knowledge is shop work, practical lab assignments, live at the house. There's 3 shops that are very, very important in the house, and mine is one of them. Carpentry's other, and masonry's other one. The 3 of us are at the house a lot. So that's a big grade for us. Written tests and quizzes, notebooks, and homework assignments are part of knowledge. And the work ethic, promptness, lab dress, ability to dress, follow directions, that's big. Safety, attendance, demonstrating activity, and lab cleanup. This one's very important for our school. The student project, it is not a senior project. And in my shop, I like to do this their junior year or their 2nd year in the program. I will spend a lot of time talking to the students about this, and there's a lot of time confusion going home. This job is either 50% at home, 50% in my shop. So either they do a job at home, like a nice hands-on job, build a deck, fix something at home, put a roof on a shed, do something that they can take pictures of, and write the paper in my shop. If they cannot do the job at home, then they do the job in school, and then they have to write the paper at home. It works out much better if they can do the job at home. So then when they're done with this job, they will need to take pictures of it as they're doing it. They make a slideshow, they write a paper, and then the big part to me is they do a presentation in front of me, some other students, and my IA, Mr. Smith, and they show it, what they've learned and how they've done. I've had some of the most outstanding students do some of these greatest projects I've ever seen. Do not sell the students short on what they can learn in 2 years. It's impressive what our students pick up as fast as they do and how hard they work. So if you have concerns, you can email me about it. Don't get excited about this one. I talk to them a lot about it, but it's easy enough to get confused. Students get confused. All my seniors should have done it already this year, but because of the end of the year closing down, they didn't get to turn theirs in. I hope they did them over the summer, but those guys normally in April, right around tax time, April 15th, I like to make sure we got these all set up and done. So our construction cluster is carpentry, masonry, cabinetry, and wood technology, which is really cabinet making. Electrical occupations, building construction occupations, HVAC, refrigeration. That young man right there won nationals for us. Plumbing and heating, painting and decorating, and horticulture. Together, all of us kick in and we build an awesome, awesome house. And this is a picture of our last house. We just sold it for $375,000. We started a new one. It should have been under roof, but because of issues with weather, we had with COVID-19, we had to shut down. So it's setting partly framed and we need to finish it up. And I don't know how that's going to work out yet. We have to sit down with the school and decide how we can go to the shop or go to this house and build. I believe that's my last slide. And here's the information for the school district. You can call the school. Everybody has emails. If you have questions, email me and I can try to help you get to who you need to get to. I guess they have Facebook's account. I do not do Facebook. I try to stay out of all the social media. And that's our website. That's where you can find all of our information at. Do you guys have any questions? I know I went through a lot quick there. And Mr. Jenkins also talked about certifications. I'll deal with that stuff with the students more. The first certification they would be getting is OSHA. There's not as many certifications in our shops in the construction industry, but there are some and we work them out and everybody will get them as long as we have time in the classroom. And this meeting, go ahead.
You said they only need the one workbook for the first years, correct?
Just the one book. It's a textbook, not a workbook.
I'm sorry, textbook, yes. Textbook.
Yes. But if they want to buy them all now, they can. You know, if you guys want to invest in that stuff. And this meeting is being recorded and they will post it back up on the website where the new student orientation stuff is, so somebody can find it and they can see if you missed anything or anything else happened. And I do apologize for all this. This is not fun for me trying to hold meetings and do this stuff over the computer. So I hope we can get into school and actually learn the right way. Any other questions? If you find out later you have any questions, email me. I try to get on my email once a day, if not every other day. And I'm pretty good about responding back to emails. Phone calls don't work very well for me. If you guys are happy with where we're at, I guess I'll just shut it down for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Have a great night.